The cruise ship Celestia Dream departed from the port of Barcelona early in the morning. The weather was clear, the water calm, and the passengers relaxed and excited about their upcoming journey across the Mediterranean Sea. Among the crew was Ivan Selin, a steward, who was to spend the next 2 weeks serving first-class passengers. Ivan was 32. He had worked on cruise ships for the past 8 years. He was accustomed to the measured chaos, endless requests, early shifts, and the constant hum of decks and cabins. But it was on the water that he felt truly alive, as if running from something, without realizing it himself. That day, he had an evening shift. Before it began, he was helping in the kitchen, carrying boxes of wine and fruit, when 2 men in black uniforms, not part of the regular crew, approached him. The men introduced themselves as representatives of the cruise's internal security. One of them, tall, with a serious gaze and a microphone in his ear, called Ivan by name and asked him to come with them. Ivan asked what was wrong, wiping his hands on his apron. "Just a formality." "Please come with us," Derek Shaw replied dryly. He was led through a service corridor, up 4 decks, and stopped at a door marked isolation. Ivan felt an unpleasant chill in his chest. "Excuse me, but can you explain what's happening?" His voice trembled. "Your identity needs verification. For now, you are temporarily isolated." "This is standard procedure," Derek replied. The door closed behind him with a dry click. The room was small, with a camera in the corner, a bunk, and a plastic table. No clock, no windows. Only silence and the hum of the engines. An hour passed. Then another. Ivan received no water, no food. No questions, no explanations. He paced back and forth, listening to every sound outside the door. He was consumed by anxiety mixed with anger. On the 6th hour of his solitude, the door opened. The same Derek entered, holding a tablet. "We want you to look at this," he said and turned the screen. It took Ivan a few seconds to understand what he was seeing. On the screen was a photo, a face almost identical to his own. The same cheekbones, the same forehead, only the eyes a little harsher, the gaze more wary. "Who is this?" he whispered. "You don't know? This is Roman." "Accused of arms smuggling, money laundering, and involvement in murder," Derek replied. "He's been on an international wanted list since 2018. Ivan recoiled. "That's my brother. We haven't spoken in 7 years. I didn't know where he was." "He disappeared," Ivan said. "We have reason to believe that you are him," Derek said. Ivan clenched his fists, his throat tightening. He sat on the bunk as if his legs had given out. "I have nothing to hide. Check my fingerprints, documents, everything. I've never been in hiding," he declared. But Derek was already leaving, without responding. The door closed again. The light dimmed to a faint glow. That night, Ivan didn't sleep. Thoughts raced. How did Roman end up on a wanted list? Why were they only confused now? How could he prove who he really was if everything, even his face, was against him? He could feel the ship swaying, hear music and clinking glasses somewhere overhead. Out there was normal life. Here was loneliness and fear. He had no idea how long this madness would last. The morning began with the luxurious scrape of a metal tray, on which Ivan was served breakfast. A boiled egg, toast, and decaffeinated coffee. "Here," the guard grumbled, placing the tray on the table. "Surprise of the day, you now have scheduled meals." Ivan sarcastically asked about dessert and grapes shaped like handcuffs. The guard didn't react and left, leaving the door ajar. Later, Ivan was summoned to the captain's cabin. The captain, a gaunt man, sat at a large wooden table. To his right stood Derek. To his left, a woman in her 40s with a tablet and a very unfriendly gaze. "This is Sophia Jansen, an internal investigations expert," the captain said. "Your situation is not simple." Ivan mumbled that it was especially not simple when you're taken from the kitchen. Sophia tapped her tablet and a photo appeared. Roman again, but now on some balcony, in an expensive suit, with a glass of wine. "We've requested biometric verification," she said. "But the satellite connection is weak. confirmation might take up to 24 hours. Until then, you are under observation. Ivan sarcastically remarked that he was now a potential villain. The captain chuckled. You may return to the crew, but not a foot near the passengers. And yes, security will be with you. For your safety, he added. When Ivan returned to his cabin, they were already waiting. One of the cooks, Matteo, asked if he was okay, adding that people were joking Ivan was an undercover agent with a mop. Ivan forced a smile and joked about a poisoned burrito. He went out on deck again. Life buzzed around him, but Ivan felt all eyes on him. And then he saw him. On the third deck, by the glass barrier, stood a man. The same shoulders. The same jawline. He turned his head, and for a second Ivan saw a face. His own face. He froze, then rushed to the stairs. But when he reached the spot, no one. Only a woman in a straw hat feeding seagulls. Ivan asked if there had been a man there, tall, in a white shirt. The woman grunted and turned away. Ivan remained standing, his hands trembling. He had seen Roman. Or, had he imagined it? The liner was huge. On it were almost 4,000 people. And one of them was either a mirage or his waking nightmare. Ivan stood by the railings, looking at the ship's wake in the water. Everything inside him was boiling. A voice from behind said, "Hope you're not going to jump." It was Lucas, the passenger service shift supervisor. Ivan turned to him and replied that he wouldn't. Lucas said Ivan had become a star of the internal mail, steward, or spy? Ivan sighed, saying he had a bad HR manager. The thought didn't leave his mind. If it was Roman, then he was on board. Ivan urgently needed answers. He remembered Aiko from the IT department. He waited for a moment and knocked on her small office. Aiko, hi. I have a question, he said. Aiko, without looking up, replied that she wasn't tech support. I need video. Specifically, cameras from the third deck. Yesterday, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., Ivan requested. Aiko finally looked at him and asked why she should help him, since he was up to his neck in shit. Because it's not me, Ivan said. I saw someone. He looked like me. Only not me. You understand? He was there, and if I'm right, you'll be the first to record it. She looked at him with interest, raising an eyebrow, then nodded. Okay. But if I get fired, I'm blaming it all on you. And eat your oatmeal while you're at it, she said. 15 minutes passed in tense silence. Then Aiko turned the screen. Camera from the third deck. And there he was, a silhouette. A man, profile, gait. Not Ivan. And yet it was him. Bingo, he whispered. It's Roman. Or it's you with a different haircut and no conscience, Aiko replied. Thanks, Aiko. You saved my life. Or at least my reputation, Ivan said. But as he took a step towards the door, she stopped him. Hey. Ivan. This video is only half the battle. Be careful. Your brother doesn't look like someone who just drinks cocktails and sunbathes. He nodded and, just in case, locked the door twice behind him. A new game was clearly beginning on the liner. And he was no longer an observer. The next hours, Ivan felt like a ticking time bomb. Passengers preferred to avoid him. At lunch, Lucas winked at him and whispered, "You've become an urban myth. Someone's already writing a blog criminal among us." Ivan replied that he hoped they had good photos. By lunchtime, it got worse. The senior shift manager discreetly informed him that the ship's management was temporarily suspending him from interacting with passengers. So Ivan, formerly the face of service, became the face of the cold storage. Later, he received a message, short, no name. You shouldn't be here. Don't interfere. He reread it 6 times. It clicked. Ivan rushed back to Aiko. Do you still have that camera from the third deck? He asked. The camera's still here, but my patience is running out, she grumbled. Can you pull images of the people who were nearby at that moment? Someone sent me a message, like he knows I saw something, Ivan asked. Aiko helped. Cameras. Faces. Blurring silhouettes. And among them one person who gave Ivan a bad case of déjà vu, a man in a jacket, with a hood, unnaturally holding his left side. Stop. There he is. Scroll back. See, he's following Roman, Ivan said. Aiko took a screenshot. Ivan brought the photo to Lucas. He looked with mild interest. You know, I always dreamed of working in a spy thriller. Just without bullets, blood, and with good insurance, Lucas said. Excellent. Then you're my partner, Ivan replied. From that moment, Ivan began his game, observation, analysis, questioning the crew. He even spoke to the bartender. Ivan was almost ready to go around and find the double's cabin based on the records, when suddenly his cabin was searched. He returned after his shift and found everything turned upside down. He never kept anything but laundry and an old psychology book, but now under his pillow he found a copy of a passport. Not his own. Roman's. And next to it a torn cruise ticket. The name changed to Rafael Cito. But the photo was his face. He froze, then slowly sank onto the bed. Great, he whispered. Someone's playing for keeps. And, apparently, it's not me. Ivan spent the night in a semi-slumber. He woke up at 5:47 a.m., because that's when his shift habitually began. His body continued to operate on schedule. For breakfast, more decaffeinated coffee and something resembling an omelet. Ivan thought for a moment, then abruptly stood up and headed for the warehouse where, rumor had it, a list of all cabins with internal numbers was kept. The key to the room was with Lucas. He was already waiting, holding a stack of papers. So, Bond, plan for today? Lucas asked. Find my brother, kick him in the butt, and get my normal job back. Or at least normal coffee, Ivan replied. I support the second one, Lucas yawned. By the way, someone forgot to close system access. Looks like you're lucky today. They were reviewing the passenger list when one number appeared too clean, name, surname, passport, everything looked official. In the contact phone field, it simply said, none. Rafael Cito, cabin B612, Lucas chuckled. Only this prince, it seems, isn't trading in stars at all, Ivan said. Ivan headed for the cabin, taking circuitous routes. He approached door B612 when it unexpectedly opened. A man in sunglasses, a dark shirt, and a baseball cap emerged. Their eyes met. Ivan froze. The man too. Half a second and he bolted towards the stairs. Hey! Stop! Ivan yelled. The chase began. Through corridors, across open areas, past the pool. Ivan rushed after him, jumping over towels, kettles, and indignant tourists. The man tried to hide in the service area, but Ivan almost caught him. At one point, he turned around. That was enough to see it was definitely Roman. But his eyes were familiar. Roman sharply turned into a technical corridor. Ivan followed him. Right in front of him, the door to the engine room. Roman slammed it shut, but Ivan managed to get his foot in. A screech, a shove, and he was inside. They stood face to face. You're in trouble, brother, Ivan exhaled. Roman smirked, and you, as always, got involved where you weren't called. Well, Ivan exhaled, not taking his eyes off his brother. You look convincing. Even the baseball cap is fashionable. Glad you're still an aesthete, Roman replied and leaned against the wall. The engine room hummed and smelled of a mix of oil and electricity. Why are you here? Ivan asked. Do you really think I'm hiding on a cruise ship for punch in the pool? There's someone here who needs me, Roman smirked. It doesn't matter. Not to you. I didn't ask you to interfere. You shouldn't have been here at all, Roman said. Ivan took a step back. You know, they mistook me for you. Locked me in isolation. Wanted to interrogate me. Showed me your file. And guess what? It's impressive. Almost as impressive as your egocentrism, Ivan said. Roman frowned. I needed to disappear. You managed without me. You're alive. You're working. Why couldn't you just stay away? Roman asked. Because you're my damn brother. And now you're also a threat to my reputation, Ivan replied. At that moment, the engine room door shuddered. Footsteps and voices were heard from outside. One of them was definitely Derek. Roman abruptly moved towards the emergency hatch on the side. Ivan stood in his way. No. Not this time, Ivan said. Get out of the way, Roman said. Or what? You'll kill me? Add family violence with consequences to your file? Ivan retorted. Roman froze, then softly said, If I don't leave now, neither of us will get out. Believe me. You can explain everything. Surrender. Take the path with fewer losses, Ivan suggested. Roman slowly shook his head, that path is not for us. He glanced at the top grate and climbed up. Ivan grabbed his leg. At the same moment, the door burst open, Derek and 2 guards rushed inside. Stop! Derek shouted. Ivan didn't have time to say anything. Roman lunged, knocked him down, and, taking advantage of the confusion, slipped into the ventilation system. One of the guards tried to follow him, but it was too late. Roman disappeared. Ivan lay on the floor, breathing heavily. He was here, he croaked. Derek approached, his jaw clenched. I saw him. And now the entire ship is on high alert, he said. He turned to the guards, block all exits. Announce internal code Blue 4. And find, damn it, this Rafael Cito. The guards nodded and disappeared. Derek turned to Ivan, we need you. Whether you want it or not. Ivan slowly got up. Great. So now I'm officially hunting my own clone, he asked. No. Now you're the bait, Derek replied. The morning began with a siren. A wail over the intercom, protocol alarm. All crew members to remain at their stations. It worked better than any alarm clock. Ivan sat in security headquarters. He won't show if he senses a trap, he grumbled, looking at the screen. Derek, standing behind him, replied, We've covered our bases. He's either a genius or a madman. Great. So I'm bait for a psycho, Ivan said. The cruise team organized a reception for VIP passengers, where a certain businessman from Roman's list was expected to appear. Ivan, in a waiter's uniform, circled among the people. At some point, he felt the air change. Someone passed too close right behind him. Ivan sharply turned around. Roman. Without glasses, without a baseball cap. In a black suit. Absolutely calm. He wasn't looking at Ivan, but at the man by the stage. Ivan clutched the tray like a shield. Then he stepped forward and blocked Roman's view. Shall we talk? He said quietly. Roman smirked. You still haven't understood what you've gotten yourself into. I've understood one thing, you can't run forever, Ivan replied. They stood in the center of the hall, and people began to turn around. Derek was already closing in. Roman looked at his brother intently. You always got involved where you weren't needed. That's why you're alive, not a legend. But not wanted, Ivan replied and, sharply, tipped a tray of drinks onto him. As Roman instinctively flinched, security closed ranks. He tried to break through, but Ivan knocked him down. They both fell. Roman hissed, betrayed. No. Saved, Ivan replied. An hour later, it was all over. Roman was led away in handcuffs. The VIPs dispersed. The music fell silent. Ivan sat by the railing, his legs dangling over the edge, a bottle of water in his hand. Lucas sat next to him. You're alive. That's an accomplishment. Even the coffee survived, Lucas said. If I'm ever offered a shift on a liner again, punch me, Ivan replied. What if it's double pay? Lucas asked. Then punch me twice, Ivan replied. A few days later, already on shore, Ivan received a letter. Paper, in an envelope with no return address. Inside a short note, you don't know who I'd become. Don't judge. You'll understand someday. There was no signature. But Ivan recognized the handwriting. He looked at those lines for a long time, then carefully folded the letter and put it in his pocket. Well, he told himself. Time to go home. To a life where the only crime is overcooked pasta. He stood up, took a deep breath of the sea air, and walked forward. Not away from, but towards.